Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another review, though this time it's of a movie because the Sonic movie sequel came out, Sonic 2. Yeah, I know, it's titled exactly the same as the video game, but don't get too confused, because they do have some things in common, but it's not like a one-to-one adaptation of it. I am a huge Sonic fan, have been for a very long time, and I reviewed the first movie, so it only made sense that I review the sequel as well. It looks like this is going to be a very big year for Sonic, with the movie just being the beginning, because there is also Sonic Frontiers, the next 3D Sonic game, finally. I can't believe we've had 2 live-action movies while waiting for this game. And there's Sonic Origins whenever they say anything else about it, because I know the community manager reconfirmed its existence because someone spread a fake rumor that it was cancelled when it was not. And there's Sonic Prime, the Netflix show, that's also supposed to be coming out this year, and really interested in seeing how that turns out, so I do plan on doing a review of all the episodes of that. And yeah, I would love to do a playthrough of Sonic Frontiers. I'm not sure what I'll do about Origins. Maybe I'll just do like a little review video of sorts. But yeah, it looks like finally I'm going to have more reason to do more Sonic content on my channel again, just like the old days. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. But now, let's get into Sonic Movie 2. And this is absolutely better than the first movie. That's unquestionable. Everything is better in this movie than the first one. It's great because I feel like there are a lot of sequels that just don't live up to the original, but thankfully this is an example of how a sequel should be. And no doubt the best video game movie I have seen. And hopefully movie 3 will be even better, but we'll talk a little bit about that later. So this is going to have spoilers and Easter egg stuff, but I'm gonna save those things until the end, because I didn't want to like try and keep spoilery stuff into a separate video. I just wanted to do like one big video for this movie, but I figured, okay, for those of you who do want to know my opinions on this movie without all the spoilery stuff, then yeah, you can stick around for the first, I guess, part of this video, and I'll definitely give a clear warning when I get into the spoilers and the Easter eggs, and I'll probably have the time code thing at the bottom where it shows like, oh, this part of the video is this, and that part of the video is that, and that sort of thing. So I know in my review of the first movie I said it felt very aimed towards kids, and I'd say that holds pretty true for the second movie as well, but I think it is more enjoyable by a general audience this time around, and it definitely turns up the Sonic, which is good. Lots more video gamey stuff going on, that's just what I was hoping for. And the human characters are still involved in the movie, but to a much lesser extent. I'm glad that they're still in it, because I surprisingly enjoyed them quite a bit. I think they still all have their time to shine in this movie, and I'm so glad that Agent Stone came back, especially because I really enjoyed him in the first movie, and sort of just like how he played off of Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik. And I gotta give a shout out to Rachel too, because in my opinion she has one of the funnier scenes in the movie, and Sonic's not even involved in that part at all. I still would say Act 2, where the humans play the biggest part, is the weakest part of the movie. I think it just dragged on a little bit too long, but I still got quite a bit of enjoyment out of it. But of course we gotta talk about the big 2 additions, Tails and Knuckles. So Tails, I think, is done pretty decently in this movie, and I'm so glad they did not replace Colleen O'Shaughnessy, because she is the current voice actress in the video games, and she did voice Tails in the post-credits scene of Sonic 1, and I totally thought they were going to replace her with some big-name celebrity, but I'm so glad they didn't, because that's good. Like, voice actors definitely deserve their due. One of the things I was actually most curious about going into this movie was how was Sonic and Tails' friendship going to develop? Because it's not really elaborated much in the games. Like, sure, there's that one scene in Sonic Adventure that's a flashback in the Mystic Ruins where Tails sees Sonic running by and then he runs after him and then you just assume they become friends. But with this being a movie, they definitely had more time to kind of like establish that bond between Sonic and Tails. Maybe a little bit more time would be good since they are supposed to be best buds, but you don't want the movie to get extremely long, and I've already seen some people complain that the movie is already too long as it is, though I don't necessarily agree with that opinion. But Knuckles! Oh my god, Knuckles! He's actually my favorite Sonic character besides Sonic himself, so as a big Knuckles fan, I wasn't going to be the easiest person to please in the theater, but my god, they did him justice for sure. This is the best characterization of Knuckles I've seen in a long time, maybe even ever. I think they kind of like balanced all of his traits correctly. Like, yeah, he's really strong and powerful, but he's not invincible by any means. Like, he is still gullible, he still is a little dumb at times, but the dumb moments he has in the movie doesn't feel like really obnoxious or just completely made for slapstick comedy like I feel like has been done with the recent Sonic games. So yeah, wow, they really did Knuckles well, and Idris Elba, yeah, did a great job voicing him, so looking forward to that Knuckles spin-off series on Paramount Plus whenever that comes along. I also like how the character development was executed between Sonic and Knuckles. Obviously, that is a huge point of this movie, and I think it all came together in a very natural way that feels earned and does establish an interesting connection between the two. So I would say overall the plot is pretty good, nothing extremely unpredictable, but does emphasize on the importance of family supporting you and just Sonic coming into his own as a hero. Definitely more action going on in this movie, especially in the third act, some really hype moments for sure. Of course, I do have to talk about Jim Carrey returning as Robotnik. Once again, I think he did a great job, very Jim Carrey, maybe even too much so at times, but still very entertaining to watch, and absolutely goes bigger and bolder with his ambitions for just like world domination and such. And I really do wonder if this is going to be his actual last big role in a movie, because he said in an interview recently that he is like actually considering retiring. Overall, I would say definitely go watch this movie as soon as you can, especially if you're a Sonic fan or if you do just like lighthearted action movies in general. I think you'll have a good time. So with all that said, let's get into the spoilery stuff and some of my favorite Easter eggs. Kinda hard to talk about the Easter eggs without spoiling plot details. The first thing I want to talk about is another character they introduced from the games besides Tails and Knuckles, and no, I'm not talking about who was introduced in the mid-credit scene. We will get to that in a bit. However, I've not seen anybody talk about the Gun Commander, because the Gun Commander is a character in Shadow the Hedgehog, as in the 2005 video game on GameCube, PS2, and Xbox. Especially when you put the two side by side, it does look like he is meant to look like the video game character. Unfortunately, the heterochromia is missing, but other than that, I think this is as accurate as you can get to a live-action version of the character from Shadow the Hedgehog. Unfortunately, I did not catch the actor's name during the credits, but I would not be shocked if he has a bigger role in movie 3, because we gotta talk about that mid-credits scene. Shadow the Hedgehog. I literally went, yes, in the movie theater, because I was really hoping for this, and Shadow is just such a hype character. So, yep, they have the Gun Commander and one of the other soldiers talking, and then Agent Stone is actually undercover. I don't know how he got out. Maybe there's like a hidden elevator in one of the Death Egg robot's legs before the whole Supersonic thing happened, which was also cool. I'm really glad they managed to fit in Supersonic, especially since Supersonic made his debut in Sonic 2. But wow. Yeah, so that is awesome. I'm really glad that Shadow seems like he's going to be a big character in movie 3, and that's getting to like Sonic Adventure 2 territory. That was the first like main 3D Sonic game that I played. Shadow does have a lot of history with Gun in the games, because they were the ones who kept him frozen in stasis for 50 years until Dr. Eggman freed him in Adventure 2. And then later on, he would actually go on to become a Gun agent alongside Rouge the Bat and E123 Omega. So it also makes me wonder how soon would those two characters appear in the movie universe. I guess it's not too much of a leap to introduce Shadow before Amy in the movie universe because Shadow is so popular, but I don't know. I'm not sure if we would see the likes of Rouge or Omega before Amy Rose. I also want to talk a bit more about the relationship between Sonic and Knuckles, because I couldn't do that earlier without spoiling things. So that was quite surprising to me how they flipped some of the lore on its head, because they made Longclaw the guardian of the Master Emerald, not Knuckles. And then Sonic was supposed to be the next character to do that. And I find it really interesting how they drew that parallel where Knuckles is the last Echidna because his dad left him behind when they were going to fight all the owls. And it was just because, like, oh, Knuckles' dad thought that it wasn't really, like, Knuckles' moment to shine yet. And then there was that similar thing at the beginning of the movie, or near the beginning, where Donut Lord is giving Sonic that speech about how it's like, oh yes, there will be a time where, like, your powers will be, like, called upon, but that moment chooses you. So I really like how there was that, but also the parallel that Sonic and Knuckles lost everything they had that day, and their lives were just flipped upside down. Speaking of cinematic parallels, this is not necessarily a Sonic reference, but a Marvel one, because there is that moment where Knuckles is chasing after Sonic and Tails in the police car, and he just rips that door right off, and it reminded me so much of the highway scene in Captain America the Winter Soldier, when the Winter Soldier just, like, reaches into the car and just rips the steering wheel out. Like, yeah, that was cool. And then later on in the movie, Sonic does call Knuckles the Winter Soldier. I also noticed Knuckles does the midair version of the Drill Claw, like when him, Tails, and Sonic are charging towards the Death Egg robot in the big battle scene. I'm not sure why they didn't do the glide, though, because gliding is one of those things that Knuckles is known for besides his strength, and he could have done that in that one scene where he just voluntarily fell off the tornado. So yeah, very strange they left gliding out. One Easter egg I found particularly amusing, whether or not you got the reference, is when Super Sonic does a little kick, or I don't know if you'd even call it a kick really, but more of a tap, to knock the Death Egg robot over. That's a reference to Sonic's first cutscene in Sonic 06, where he saves Princess Elise and he destroys all of Dr. Eggman's robots except for the one that's near the edge, and then Sonic just does a little tap and watches the robot plummet over, and it's pretty funny. And an interesting, clever way of referencing Sonic 06. One other reference that I really enjoyed from the modern era is Tails' translator, because he did use that in the Siberia bar scene, and if you've played Colors, or maybe even watched my Let's Play of that, you'll already know it is pretty accurate to the source material, because in Colors, it does mess up quite a lot at first. I mean, it called Yacker Talks a Lot and said that he was from a faraway soda. So, yeah. I think in the movie, the translator did even worse with the whole mistranslating bit. You know, considering Sonic and Tails almost got thrown into a fire. There's also a couple of classic references that I enjoyed, and I guess what you can call the Labyrinth Zone segment, because when Sonic is approaching the maze, you can see him go down that slide, and he has his hands in the air, so it's just like that classic sprite in the older games when he is going down water slides, so that was pretty cute. And then there's the scene where Sonic is rescuing Knuckles, because Knuckles is trapped under that pillar, underwater, and then Sonic goes underwater, and as he's trying to lift the pillar, he's running out of air, but then he sees the air bubble, and he does the whole whoop whoop thing, and that's so cool. Apparently also the drowning theme played for a couple of notes when Sonic was about to drown, but I didn't actually hear it. I remember when I saw it, I was like, huh, why didn't they use the theme? That seemed like an obvious thing to do, but yeah, I guess it was just more subtle. I do wish they did have more, like, music references in there. There was, like, their Green Hill Zone ringtone in the wedding scene, but I think that was pretty much it. I think it would have been really cool if, say, like, they had a remix of the Eggman theme from Sonic Adventure 2 playing, like, right after Robotnik finished building the Death Egg robot. I don't know. I don't think that would have hurt anything, but I don't know. Maybe they'll do more of that in Sonic Movie 3. I mean, they gotta get Crush 40 if they're gonna have Shadow in the movie, right? So, that would be great. One last reference I really appreciated was that Agent Stone was working at the Mean Bean coffee shop, an obvious reference to Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean machine on the Sega Genesis and Game Gear, basically a Tetris-like puzzle game. I remember when those set photos first came out that showed that place, I gushed about it because it's like, oh my god, these people really know Sonic! They're making these deep-cut references instead of just sticking to the most popular Sonic games. So those are just some of my favorite Easter eggs and references. There's plenty more, which is good, because I don't remember too many in the first movie. I guess to just summarize my opinions on this movie, I would say this movie was better than I expected. I guess if I were to give it on a point scale out of 10, I would give it an 8? Yeah, I think an 8 sounds about right. And I think that movie 3 will probably be even better. At least here's hoping. And it's not like a perfect movie by any means. It does have some flaws. The middle act dragged a little bit. And I do wish there were more musical references to the actual games. And I don't know, maybe Sonic and Tails could have had a little bit more time to bond, but overall, nothing that really, like, stuck out like a really sore thumb to me. So I think that is overall a win. I actually was kind of like trembling a little bit from the hype when I was just like getting back into my car after watching the movie. So not many movies do that for me. I think that is also a really good sign. So feel free to leave your thoughts on Sonic Movie 2 in the comment section below. I just asked if you bring up spoilers, please mention that there are going to be spoilers in your comments, since obviously not everybody has seen the movie yet. It hasn't been out that long. I think North America actually got this movie last, which was pretty surprising. I thought most movies just come out at, like, pretty much the same time, like, within a couple of days of each other, but that was not the case for Sonic 2. Very strange. Hopefully movie 3 won't be like that. But anyways, I'm gonna get going now, so be sure to subscribe if you'd like to keep up with my latest gaming content, including life simulations and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!